The sun had barely risen over the sleepy English countryside when Margaret Langley slipped into her faded blue dress, the one with the frayed sleeves Thomas always loved. She carefully pinned her silver hair in a loose bun, dabbed a touch of rose water behind her ears, and reached into the wooden drawer by her bedside. Her trembling hands pulled out a letter, old, yellowed with time, sealed but never opened. It had been exactly 60 years. 60 years since Thomas boarded the train at Dorset Station. 60 years since the promises they made beneath the sycamore tree. 60 years of silence. They were barely 20, the world still new, their love naive and untested. But to them, it was everything. They had grown up in the same village, walked the same roads, and dreamed under the same stars. And when war came knocking, they clung to each other with all the ferocity young hearts can muster. He promised he'd write, every week, every day, if he could. And she promised she'd wait. However long it took. At first, the letters came often. Beautifully written, full of hope, humor, and longing. She'd read them by candlelight, pressing each page to her chest. But then, they stopped. No warning, no goodbye, just silence. She went to the post office every day for a year. Then every week, then every month. Her neighbors whispered, "He's gone." Her parents pleaded, "Let him go." But Margaret never stopped waiting. Years passed. War ended. Boys came home, broken, changed, or not at all. She searched every list of casualties, every column of names. His name was always missing. And yet, so was he. Still, she waited. She never married. "My heart is taken," she'd say, smiling politely. She took a job as a librarian, filled her world with books and children's laughter. But every night, she'd open the drawer, look at the last letter he sent, and whisper into the dark, "I still love you." By her 40s, most in the village believed she'd simply gone mad with grief. Some pitied her, others admired her loyalty, but none truly understood. Then came the day, many decades later, when a young man arrived at her cottage. His uniform was crisp, his voice was steady. "Are you Miss Langley?" he asked, removing his cap. She nodded. "My name is Peter Whittaker. My father was Thomas Whittaker." Her knees buckled. The name hit her like a wave of molten steel. He guided her to the chair gently. "My father passed away 6 months ago. But before he died, he told me to find you. He said, 'Give her this. She deserves the truth.'" From his coat pocket, Peter retrieved a small, weathered box. Inside lay the letter, a letter addressed to her. Thomas's handwriting. Margaret stared at it as though it were a ghost. He wrote this before his final mission in 1955. He carried it with him everywhere. But he was captured shortly after. Russian territory, held in a labor camp. For years. Her breath caught. "He thought you had moved on. He was told by someone that you married. That you were gone." She shook her head violently. "No, I waited. I always waited." Peter's eyes softened. He regretted not trying harder to find you. But he feared reopening wounds, feared it was too late. She reached out and took the letter. Her fingers trembled as they touched the paper. When she finally opened it, the ink had faded, but his words were alive, heartbreakingly so. "My dearest Margaret, if this letter reaches you, then I am the luckiest man on earth. If it does not, then I suppose this is goodbye. War is cruel. It steals time. It steals youth. But it can't steal you from my heart. I want you to know, not a single day has passed without me loving you. I see your smile in every sunrise. I hear your voice in every quiet moment. If God is kind, I'll return to you. If he isn't, promise me you'll still dance in the rain, laugh at silly books, and live the life we dreamed of. I will carry you with me until my last breath. Forever yours, Thomas." Margaret sobbed into the letter, holding it to her heart. 60 years of silence, shattered by words filled with love. Peter placed something else in her hand. A locket. Inside it was a tiny black and white photo, her and Thomas, the day before he left, laughing under the sycamore tree. She wore that locket every day after. The village changed. New people moved in, but Margaret remained the same, gentle, kind, and eternally loyal. She'd often be seen sitting by the window, letter in her lap, looking out at the world with a soft smile. On the morning of her 81st birthday, the postman knocked but no one answered. Concerned neighbors entered and found her still in her chair, eyes closed, the letter resting in her palm, the locket still around her neck. A smile touched her lips. She had finally gone to him. Her funeral was small, quiet, but touching. Peter spoke of the kindest woman he'd ever met. She waited a lifetime for love, he said. And in doing so, reminded us all what love really means. Beside the old sycamore tree, a new gravestone was placed. Margaret Langley, 1935-2017. She waited, and now, she rests. Reunited with Thomas Whitaker, her one true love. And just beneath that,